I fell in love with reading books, and I used to read hours and hours. And finally, when I started reading a lot of these books, I found out the secret of success. Like most of you say, I mean, they're all rich and billionaires, but then most of the common things like, they're passionate. All these successful people, they are passionate, they have clear goals, they have a good purpose, they are hardworking, they're committed, they're confident. But one thing that many people miss out is they all have committed to lifelong learning. You name any person who has achieved extraordinary levels of success, I can tell you that that person has committed to lifelong learning. They keep on learning new things on a regular basis. Like Oliver Wendell Holmes said a long time ago, a mind that is stretched by a new experience can never go back to its old dimensions. And that is the reason I say that your learning ability decides your earning capacity. And that's also the reason why, if you learn faster, you will stand out from everyone else. If you learn faster, you can go from underpaid to overpaid. And if you learn faster, you can have an unfair advantage over others. So the question is, how do you learn? So it all starts with input. Now, what I mean by input? Now, most people, they just focus way too much on input. What I mean by input is they go to seminars, they read books, they watch videos, they listen to podcasts, they follow blogs. It's input, 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 and more input. Well, there's nothing wrong with learning. The problem is if you have too much of input with no output, what happens is you have shallow learning. That's not good. What we want is not shallow learning. For example, how many of you had this experience where, some of your friends come to you and say, hey, read this book. And then you go, yeah, what did you learn from this book? And then they go, it's a good book. It's a good book. It's a very good book, And then you go, okay, like, I understand what he's saying, but what's the takeaway from this book for you? And they say, I tell you, you must read this book. Well, what's the point of learning something if you can't implement it and benefit from this? That is pure intellectual entertainment, nothing else. We don't want shallow learning. We want deep learning. And how do you do that? We do it, it's very simple. For true mastery, you need to focus more on the output rather than the input. You need to focus more on the output rather than the input.